Welcome to the Pink Lady Posse podcast, where women over 50 take a fresh look at living, toss out tired stereotypes, and say a big heck yes to what's next. I'm your host, Sandy Parker, and around here, we challenge limitations, rewrite the story on aging, and reclaim our power, pleasure, and purpose. Why? Our next years are not about a decline. They are our big reveal. Let's go. Hello, everyone. I'm Sandy Parker Martinez with Pink Lady Posse podcast. And we believe that you're not your best self by yourself, that being with others in community is where it is. And I'm here today with Jen from the most attractive name I might have ever run into, which is We the Unruly. Oh, mind
Thank you.
blown. So, Jen, tell us a little bit about you and what you do and what that means and all that.
Yeah, I'm loving that we matched up on our pinks. I
Right?
clearly have a love of pink as well. So,
Yeah.
of course, I had to be on your show. But I am the founder of We the Unruly. I've been an online entrepreneur coach for 14-ish years, and I knew that there was something more for me. I knew that I was more than Coach Jen. And so on my 55th birthday, April 15th of last year, I sat in reflection like I always do on my birthday, and I was like, there is something I'm not giving myself permission for, right? And it came to me, I'm ready to start a movement. I've done enough of my own inner work and healing and identity work and all of that. I want to start a movement of people that are being so fully unapologetically themselves, believing that what they want is possible, believing and trusting that they're the ones who can go make it happen, right? Yeah. But it's like, I call it a way of being, but it's not my way of being. It's each person having that strong point of view that you and I were talking about before we recorded, that strong point of view of here's exactly who I am. Here's exactly what I am about. Here is the legacy I'm here to live now and the legacy I'm here to leave behind and the impact I want to create in the world. And then going after it.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I don't
Thank you.
even know where to start. And I love the sassy attitude.
Hmm.
Like, in fact, I did a meditation the other day with our vision board experience. And you know what the word came up for me was sass.
Ooh, sass. I call it
Like,
spice, but sass works too.
yeah, I'm tired of being polite for the
Yeah.
sake of being polite and not just uh, being
Yeah.
me for whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I love that you said the word polite because, we're raised being taught we should be polite, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
But every single word is subjective. So what polite means to me might be different than what polite means to you, right? When we say we're a polite society, what does that even mean? Because I look at people right now that consider themselves polite, and I think they're doing absolute harm to others. And that to me is not polite, right? I have a septum and a nose ring and I have pink hair and what have you. Others look at me and say, she's not someone I want to be around, i.e., I'm not polite to them, right? And so I think that goes back to what are those definitions of those words for you? And then if the definition doesn't fit you, it's okay. Have that be okay. That's that unapologetic ownership of who you are and that intentional decision of how do I want to show up in the world.
Now, for the person, I would be so curious on data, right? Like, what
Mhm.
percentage of women 50 plus are under the oppression of polite or reasonable or,
Yeah,
like
be
it's a lot
kind.
of us.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna hazard to guess it's way more than 50%. Here's a really good example. I was talking with a woman and she was like, "Well, overwhelmed, exhausted, all of that." She's like, I can't say no because I don't want to let anyone down. I'm just being kind." Right? And I said, in however I said it, I can't remember, but the gist of it is you're not being kind to yourself by doing that, right? So if you're, for me, my definition of kind must include myself. It didn't always. That was part of that work that I was, have talked about, but my kind has to include myself. If it doesn't, that is not being kind.
Oh, I love that. So I was just on a phone call today with a woman. She's older. She's going to a wedding and she wants some assistance.
Hmm.
And the person has said, if you ever need anything, let me know. But she cannot bring herself to
Mm.
ask for the support she wants. I said, okay, so we're doing an accountability session where she has a little homework and then,
Yeah.
send me the tag, that kind of thing. But I'm like, they've already said, if you need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
And so, I think I'm in the Be More conference, and I know know the girls that are organizing that. I was just
Yep.
talking to Lynn this morning about visibility and voice. And I'm like, you can't have a voice if you don't know what it is you would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
We literally have to say, okay, for me, and I love this phrase, I say it all the time, I have a say in how this goes.
Yeah.
I have a say in how my life goes.
Absolutely. And that's that intentionality, right?
It just makes me feel like a whole person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have a say in how my life goes. I'm married. I hired this guy the other day, help me to put patio lights up by our hot tub. He wasn't doing it right. And he was showing up late every day. And I was like, okay, dude, first of all, late doesn't work for me.
Hmm.
And I want it to be a pleasant experience, and it's not.
Yeah.
How can we work? He looked at me like, you've got to be kidding me that you're going to put demands on it. I'm like, I have a say in how
Yeah.
this goes.
Absolutely. And we talk about control and how you really don't have control over much. And for me, it's a yes and. I absolutely 1000% control how I stand up for myself, how I articulate my needs, how I show up, how I react, right? Now, I come from a history of trauma, much like I'm sure many of your listeners do. This didn't come naturally to me to be able to be this person, right? But that is the work that I chose to do so that I can be here today and say, yeah, I have my own back. Yeah, I trust that I will do what's right for me, right? Now, that doesn't mean I'm not being kind and generous and compassionate and, talking with my spouse about our plans and compromising here and there. Absolutely not. But I know the fundamentals of who I am and what I'm about. What are my non-negotiables? What aren't, right? And that is what guides me in how I show up, how I be in community, how I be in relationships, all of that. And I think if imagine a world where especially women
I
are
love the
doing that
world. I know where you're
and
going.
and we understand why it's happened. We understand why in 2026 when we're recording this, why women still aren't there yet. But that's why we need more and more and more of us that are waking up to that and showing others what's possible, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not easy work. It's not the easy, sexy, feel like it feels good once you've gotten through that transition
Ooh.
phase, right? Like,
But
yeah,
even that boy who was like a handyman I hired, I said, late doesn't work for me.
yeah,
And I felt like, oh, come on, give the guy a break. And I'm like, no,
oh,
no, it doesn't work for me.
yeah,
And that's one of my pet peeves. It's
mm,
like 2 days in a row. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
this is going to affect your future. But for me, I'm not going to hire him again ever. Anyway, I got on a rant.
No, it's
But
okay. In the Unruly Collective, which is my membership, even on my sales page, it's like you come in and my expectation is you are taking up all the damn space you need. You're taking up all the space you need, right? We are not here to shrink or, and I can't control how someone else shows up, but what I can do is set the expectations that in this container, this is the space to do that.
Okay, so all right, when you say you ask for the space you need,
Yep.
like, do we know how to do that? Like, what does that
No, no,
mean?
but that's what we're here to like
I would
help
be
help
so intimidated. I go, do I say this? Do I say too much? Do I not say
mom.
that? You know
Well,
what?
okay, so that is a one-liner. There's context around that,
No,
right?
I know, but it's so beautiful in that
Hmm.
even that one liner
Hmm.
throws me into an authentic, I've always felt like I was a bull in a china shop. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
too much. I'm going to say too much. I'm going to do,
Yeah. Well, we say in our community that you're too much, like that is your superpower. Like, and so I attract people who have been told they were too much their whole entire life. And here it's like, no, like you're gonna own that, right? And again, it doesn't mean you show up. You're
as
not
a
like
bully.
right, right.
Uh,
There is that level of like emotional awareness and being a good human being when you, right? But
yeah.
it's like, no, we ask for what we need. Especially when we give feedback in my group. It's how spicy do you need it today? Right? Like if you're very tender-hearted, you might need to hear it a different way, but it is on you to tell us what you need that day, right? So it goes multiple ways. But if we're going to be in community and relationship with each other, you need to say the things out loud that are in your head, the expectations you have, you know what I mean?
If you don't, we're all assumptions in a head in a group.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know about you, but so I almost divorced my husband on this. It's a decade later and we're doing better than ever, by the way. But I almost divorced him because I started to have conversations in my head with him. And I was making I would like make it like, oh, this is how he would react. So then I would never even talk to him about the thing because I was already mad at him in my head. That's not fair to him. I
Oh
wasn't
my
giving him the
gosh.
opportunity.
The other day, it was so weird. I had such stress in my shoulders and my neck, like my neck was in pain. And I went and got a massage. But the next day I said to him, I was just so wishing I could just lay down and you would massage my
Mhm.
shoulders. And, he goes, "But you didn't ask me."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, well, oh, I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
I went to have a massage.
Yeah. Well, the flip side of that is making the ask, but then being okay if the answer isn't what you want, right?
Yeah.
That is like a healthy communication right there. And
Yeah,
that's,
but I didn't even ask because I thought, well, he won't be into that. I mean,
yeah.
we've only been married a short period of time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But here's the thing. I was at a table the other night and somebody said, uh, I think you're a type A woman. I said, am I a type A woman? The whole table laughed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, am I? I don't know. Well, I didn't even ask my husband for what. So the visibility and the voice
Mm-hmm.
is it's up to what you're used to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then it's up to what you're used to. And then asking, is that the limit I have? Is that the limit I am going to choose to go to? Right? And if you stay there, like it's not good, bad, or right or wrong. There's no morality in that. But if you're not living the life you want to live, the impact you're here to have, all of that, you're going to have to push those edges a little bit. And I love what you were sharing with me. It's those small, like, what are those small steps you can do that still feel safe so that you can build the muscle of doing the bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you never start, like,
Mm.
people listening are very intelligent creatures. I'm not gonna like, dumb us down, but it's like if you don't start, you will never cross that line.
Well, it was so funny. I had a coaching client one time, and she goes, I cannot be
Quick
unreasonable.
question. Have you noticed how easy it is to drift through this season of life? Not unhappy, just slightly checked out. Yeah, that. At Think Pink, we don't fix women. We help them come alive again. Honest conversation. Easy occasions for discovery. No duct taping a smile over burnout. No reinvent your entire life by Tuesday. Just people who care and gentle nudges that help you feel like yourself again. I mean, the truth is, you can't be your best self by yourself. If that sentence made something in you nod, we made a free Think Pink starter gift just for you. Come take a look. No fixing, just connection. Go to pinkladyposse.com and click on Think Pink. Stay awake to your own life and not alone.
Well, it was so funny. I had a coaching client one time, and she goes, I cannot be unreasonable. She could not. I mean, she was like so set up to be just right
Hmm.
that I took her to Starbucks. And I said, okay, we're going to go through and we're going to ask for our caramel macchiato to be put half in one cup and half in the other. And don't say another word.
Hmm.
She was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the window, the guy goes, here are your, you know, and I'm like, what was that like for you? He goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, the freedom to just
Mhm.
speak what you really want
Yeah.
is
That's the
amazing.
word. The freedom. The freedom.
But it's up to you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like
But
even I was going to say, even with my husband, the fact that 2 days later he said I would have. I was like, darn, I didn't even ask.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And I would say that yes, for many, many, many people, that is possible for them. But I also want to acknowledge that some people simply aren't in safe, supportive spaces yet to be able to do that, right? And so
right,
if you're listening in and you're like, it's not safe for me, then take what we're saying with a grain of salt. I'm in a very supportive, healthy relationship with my husband. I don't fear for my safety as a middle-aged white woman like any of that, right? Um, we don't all have the same lived experiences, obviously,
right.
right? But it's if you are like many who do have that level of safety and comfort in your life, like please do the work because one of my soapboxes, Sandy, is
Come on.
I think about the younger generations that are watching us, right? And what do we want to teach them? And I am
Hmm.
not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I have three children. I'm sure they will go to therapy for all sorts of different things that I did, right? However, I have modeled doing the intense inner healing work. I have modeled what it looks like to love and honor yourself. I have looked like what it look I have modeled what it looks like to have grace and compassion and kindness for yourself. There are some things that I have gotten right, and I that is a cycle I have broken myself generationally. Right? My children will have their own struggles, but they're not going to be the same ones that I did.
Right. You know, it's so interesting you would say that because I just did a TEDx talk in Wilmington, Delaware in November, like one of my bucket lists. And my daughters came to be with me.
Ooh, I love that.
And the topic was the second half of life can be a reveal, not a decline.
1000%.
Oh no. And but the most beautiful thing I can say is that I was the example of that
Hmm.
by taking on the training and taking on the my husband says I was a dog with a bone. I am not getting out of this class without doing a TED talk.
Yeah, I call it tenacity.
But it was so beautiful to be the example as a mother
Yeah.
of what I want them to experience, which is life until your last breath, can be a
Absolutely.
reveal. Like every bit
Absolutely.
of you that hasn't yet been revealed, do it, do it, do it.
Oh, Sandy, we could talk on this forever because maybe what you don't know about me is in 2015, when I reached rock bottom, uh, I saw two paths in front of me. One was this bitter, old, resentful woman that, no one came to my funeral, and then my children were embarrassed because no one came to celebrate their mother. Like that was a vision that kept me up at night. And then there was the vision of myself at 80 who was like lively and getting into all sorts of shenanigans, racing around in, I don't know if it's a walker or whatever. Like what I was like lively and vibrant and, cracking jokes and all of that. And in those darkest moments, I had to keep choosing the vision of the 80-year-old. Okay. And what I will say is that why I have pink hair, why I have colorful stuff all around me, how I show up now, like that is all in honor of who I want to be in my elder years. Making her possible has been my mission. And I can sit here today, 10 years later, and say, yeah, I've accomplished that. And what I love to, well, how I love to think of it is I get to have this feeling the rest of my life. Even if I pass right after this call, heaven forbid, I I passed having knowing what wholeness and who I am so deeply. I get to have that the rest of my life.
Mm.
But I love that what you're saying, it's like that, it's choosing. I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. I don't know if some illness is going to take me or how my body may or may hold up. I don't know any of that, right? But the vision I have made possible. And that for me is enough. And
Well,
continuing to make that vision be
I'm
as
just going to
possible as it can
say
be.
what's totally unfair is you look 30 years old, which is
Oh,
ridiculous. You don't even
I
look.
turned 50. I turn 56 soon.
No,
Like, how
I
old am
turned
I?
I turned 70 in April.
I mean, yeah.
You
Uh,
know,
we both
but
go ahead.
we age well, shall I
Yeah.
say?
I find elderly women some of the most stunning people out there. Uh, for me, it's almost the more wrinkles, the better. Like, and I know that is such an unpopular perspective,
Right.
right? And that it makes me sad because why are we demeaning women for a very natural process? Why aren't we talking about how all
Mhm.
women of all ages are so stunningly beautiful? I love to collect stories of women, in their 80s, 90s doing amazing things. Like, I don't know if her name is Jane Campbell. She wrote a book, published her debut novel at 80 about the erotic lives of 13 older women. Like, you cannot tell me it's too late, you're too old. You can't. Or Betty Reed Soskins, who I think she passed recently, but she retired from being a national park ranger at like 100 and maybe 101. And she didn't start that career until her late 80s. Like, why are we sharing images and stories and saying ick and all of that when we can be celebrating? Sorry, I really do get on a spicy
No,
soap.
you know what? Here's the deal. I had a boldness camp called She Rocks.
Mm,
And it was a 2 day boldness camp, and we were the rock and roll band on day two
I love that.
for an audience. And we were all over 50. And I had a woman come from Houston. I love her so much. And she was there with her little dress and her little pumps, and she was doing her thing. She had the best time, and she went to go help her daughter with her wedding invitations and had a tragic accident on the
Hmm.
way home. Every day I live, I think I got a day she did not get to have.
Yeah.
But her brother at the funeral was like, I don't know what you did with my sister, But she was the happiest I've ever seen her.
Oh,
And I'm like, she drove from Houston to Austin to be in a rock and roll camp as an attorney. I mean, I just honor her so much because
absolutely.
she just did what she really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And day
Yeah,
by day, that's all we get the choice to do is what we can do today.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I'd love to tell the story of my mom. She passed almost 5 years ago, but she was abandoned by her dad when she was 3. Okay.
mm,
And, had some bullying all through school and had 2 fiancés leave her weeks from the wedding. And she finally married my dad. And my dad was severely, severely, severely mentally ill. She had 2 children, and so she's raising us under this it's very, very difficult household with my
mm,
dad. Lots of trauma, lots like all of that, right? She reinvented her career a number of times, but why I love to share her story is she did not find true love and like true joy, like lasting day-to-day joy until her late 60s. She did not give up, right? And she maybe only had that because she passed at 73. She maybe only had that joy, that true, true, deep love, healthy love for 5 years of her life. But I go back to she got to pass knowing she
mm.
didn't give up, knowing that she made it happen, right? In spite of everything dating back to when she was 3 and then abandoned again and again and again.
Wow. Well, you saw my chart
Yeah,
of the path of a great life, and it includes all sorts of things from being curious to being to micro actions to big asks. But if
yeah.
you had the chance, this is your big
Ooh.
drum roll, please. If you had the chance to give anyone that listens to this your heartfelt message,
Oh,
I know, but like that, and I always spring it on people because I want their intuition to
yeah.
emerge.
No, I love it. I feel like I've poured my heart into into what I've shared. So I'm trying to think like what could top
No,
that.
you have, but the thing of it is that
Yeah.
if you had one thing to say,
Hmm.
like what is the one thing you go, don't miss this?
Yeah. Oh, okay. What's coming up, and it sounds a little cliche, but choose yourself. Like, don't just say, "Oh, I'm choosing myself." Like, do the deep, gritty, sometimes uncomfortable work to choose yourself, right? Because it
Mm.
makes everything else in your life that is so near and dear to you, how you parent, how you be in relate, it makes everything flow so much easier and feel so much better. Choosing yourself, and it's not always easy. It's not meant to be, but it is so worth it.
And we weren't raised
No,
to do
no,
that.
yeah, it like unwind and untangle and unrule and unshould should and all of the things, but don't give up on that. Don't give up. You are worth so much more than giving up on that.
Yay, yay. Okay, so tell us if people want to know more about you or if they
Mm.
want to know what you're doing, like how can they connect and all that.
Yeah, I if you look for We the Unruly, I'm on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. My website is wetheunruly.com. You kind of can't miss We the Unruly.
I love the name. So it's such an attractor.
Thank you. Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
pretty proud of it.
it's
I'm not
so
gonna.
fantastic. Well, yeah, I tell the story when my husband passed away. I then now needed to work, which
Hmm.
ugh, I did not want to work. But I describe myself as a has been. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
who wants to hire a has been? Nobody.
Yeah.
So I'm 65 or whatever I am. And I'm like, I had to create myself
Hmm.
as unapologetic, unreasonable, and
Yes.
bold. Like as a made up, like putting on a cape that way.
Mhm.
So I went into the interview brave, and he goes, "You're great, but we'll look through interviews, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "You have to know I've created myself as unreasonable and unapologetic and bold.
Mhm.
I really want to start on Monday, and I don't want you to interview any more people."
Mm. That is so bold. I love it.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my gosh, I had
Yeah.
no job. And he
Yeah.
goes, "Okay, you start on Monday."
I love that.
Uh,
I love that so much.
So when I
Yeah.
hear we the unruly, I think we the unapologetic.
I mean, that is the core tenet is being so fully unapologetically yourself, uh, that you can't help but people can't help but feel that from you, right? And know that about you.
I mean, how many people he'd interviewed, but he hired me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I had to have the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Miss Jen, you are delightful. I knew that already.
As are
And
you.
I just thank you so much for being with me and Pink Lady Posse, because our mission is to empower women in the world to live their own dang life.
Oops, I used a swear. I'm so sorry.
Go
It's
for
been
it.
a delight. Thank you so much.
I just love you to pieces. Thank you so much. We'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. And we'll turn the tables and have you on We the Unruly.
Do it. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse Podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.